Really turbulent day today. Bitcoin currently sitting below the bull market support band. Twitter very 50-50 where they think the market's going to go. Meme coins absolutely disrespecting Bitcoin right now, pumping in Bitcoin's face. And I haven't added anything to my bags at this moment. I'm still cautious and I'm keeping a close eye on Bitcoin's daily close and weekly close. In this video, I'm going to discuss the actions that I'll be taking based on Bitcoin's weekly close and daily close. I also want to discuss why I think we're seeing a bit of a pullback, how long this volatility is going to last, and whether you're already invested in crypto or you're sidelined at the moment, this video is for you. So let's go. Let's just begin from a macro point of view. If you've been watching my previous videos, you would have seen me draw this line that Bitcoin had to break to reverse market structure, start a new trend. The reason being is because we've been making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows. To reverse that trend, we need to start making higher lows, higher highs, and we're hoping to form another higher low here. And as you can see on this yellow line, Bitcoin is currently below the 200-day EMA, otherwise known as the bull market support band. That's currently sitting at 60,011. If you look at it on a weekly time frame, that's going to be the 21-week EMA. And that is currently sitting between the range of 61,168 and 62,283. So right now is Thursday. The week's not going to close until Sunday. So we still have about 3-4 days until this wick closes to see if we can go back in that range or close above it. Now with the daily, we don't want to see it close too many days below the 200-day EMA. I'd say 2 to 3 days below it, you'd want to see it come back up to form a higher low. That's alluding to what Virtual Bacon is saying. Key support range we're looking at is 58 to 60.5K. And the reason is that this range here at 58 to 60.5K has the most volume in the trading range, even more than the 64K resistance. And at the same time, the 200-day EMA is at 60K for confluence. But given that the range between 58 and 60 has very high trading volume and the 200-day EMA is there, he believes that we should only spend a few days here, go back above it to show strength to form another higher low. The lowest he would take would be a sweep of 58K, and that's on a 1 to 2 day basis before closing back above. That's what I just explained. That would show a stronger higher low. And if we stay below 57K, that would be a weird signal, enough for me to reconsider the bullish bias. So what should you do right now? And remember that not taking a trade is also a trade. You don't always have to be in the trade. Right now, I'm actually not doing anything. What I'm looking at is the daily close. We start to see 2, 3, or 4 daily closes below this bull market support band, or at the end of the week, we see that Bitcoin has not closed within the range of the bull market support band. I'm going to look to de-risk probably 50% of my holdings just to make sure that I'm protected against the potential downside. You can always re-enter back in. It's just about protecting your capital, because if you draw this regression line, you can see that every time we've gone up to test range highs, range lows, and if we do break that, which I don't think we will, and as Virtual Bacon said, there's high confluence with a 200-day EMA at 60K, plus the high trading volume, and we could look to make another higher low here. I also don't think the macro is in a place where we should see Bitcoin come back down to test the range lows, but if we did, it'd be 52. So what I'm doing is, if we start to see many closes below the bull market support band, as well as the weekly close, I'm going to be de-risking 50%, and I'd look to rebuy back in the 55 to 52 region. And I'm not saying rebuy back Bitcoin. I don't actually trade Bitcoin at all. I'm just talking about what Bitcoin is doing as Bitcoin leads the general market. And if Bitcoin goes up, the rest of the coins go up. And if Bitcoin goes down, the rest of the coins go down as well. So I'm not actually trading Bitcoin. Before you look to buy a coin, you obviously want to look at the price action of that coin specifically to see whether you're buying a high time frame support level or you're buying a breakout. But it should follow quite well with Bitcoin. And then, as I said, yeah, I'd look to rebuy back between the 55 and 52. Or if we do close above here, I'd be looking to rebuy back on strength once we claim another higher high, which would be above 66. So in this range, I'm not really trying to do much. I'm not a day trader, but I will buy strength. Or if we break down, I will buy at support. Now let's examine why the markets had a pullback today. Reason being, September CPI inflation data came out today. We expected headline CPI to be 2.3%, we got 2.4%. Core CPI, we expected 3.2, we got 3.3. And now, for the first time since March 2023, core CPI is back on the rise. We all knew during 2020 to 2021, the Fed printed lots of money, injected lots of money into the economy. That caused inflation to rise. Then the Fed had to increase rates, bring the economy back down to slow it down to stop inflation, reach a target rate inflation of 10%. We did start hitting that. So now the Fed cut 50 basis points for the first time, even though it seems like it was too aggressive because now inflation is already back on the rise after just one 50 basis point cut. Market is predicting another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rate cuts, which is going to be 150 basis points more by the end of October next year. But given that we've only just cut 50 basis points and inflation is already back on the rise, surely that's a sign that it was too aggressive. So it's unlikely we see another 50 basis point cut this year, and the odds of the no cut in November rising. This is now at 16.2% to basically say that we stay in the same position. This number was lower before and it's back on the rise, but the numbers were only a slight amount above expectations. It's nothing to worry about just yet, and that's why the market is still pricing in 83.8% for us to have another 25 basis point cut come the 7th of November. We're still pricing in another 1, 2, 3 cuts by the end of the year, so another 75 basis points. And this is what we really want the Fed to do. We want the Fed to slowly cut rates over time in a sustainable manner so that the market has certainty to move forward. Market really likes certainty. So if we can move in a sustainable manner over time, that's what's really going to be good for the crypto markets to increase the global liquidity into the markets and have Bitcoin price rise and the rest of the crypto markets to follow. We do know the Fed's fund rate target at the end of 2025 is 3.4%. And as you can see, end of 2025, we're around the 325 to 350. Something else that I really wanted to cover, how you can prepare for the next leg up. This website here, bello.xyz, you can see sector performance and you can see what has been performing the best. You can see that in the past month, it's been AI, memes, and layer ones. Layer ones is being slept on at the moment because obviously memes and AI has been taking the charge. But I think if you can find the right layer one, you can make massive gains here. An example here being Sui from the lows at 0.5 up to 1.8. It's over a 3x right now. And this is a big VC backed coin. And I think looking forward, you can find what the next project is that's about to do the same thing. Sui and both Aptos were built by the same developers using the same programming language. Why is that important? Sui is seen as the Solana killer. Now, if Aptos does anything like Sui, we could see it do a 2 to 3x in the coming weeks. Aptos also has a strong intersection of the successful sectors that are currently within crypto. Obviously, one being AI and gaming. Gaming hasn't had as good of a run this year, but very particular games, especially infrastructure plays, are doing very well. So I think any intersection that can either blend AI, gaming, teams, or layer ones are all going to do well because the narrative is going to keep pushing it higher. Now, to quickly explain what a layer one is and why it has value, you need to just basically understand that layer one is an infrastructure that allows other projects to come build on top of it. And what it gives to the projects is either scalability, security, or decentralization. As for Sui and Aptos, they have very high scalability, not as decentralized, but they're secure. And if you think of a layer one as a city of the infrastructure, and you have good healthcare, low taxes, good transport, a lot of businesses want to come and open in your city or in your country. And they start doing business with each other. They're all getting filthy rich. Guys doing business with this guy. And every time they do business in your country, let's say they're in Europe, they have to use the euro. They're in America, they use the dollar. They're in England, they use the pound. When there's a lot of trading happening and they have to use your currency, the same way in a layer one, you have to pay with gas. You have to use gas as Aptos or Sui or Sol. Your currency is going to go up. So if there's a lot of developers coming and building on the layer one because it's easy to build on, like Sui, like Solana, like Aptos, it's going to attract developers. Developers are going to attract users because they're building dApps, which are quick, easy, and cheap to use. And that's what brings a lot of more people now. Now you have developers and users, and they're all trading around. And therefore, based on just supply and demand, the price of Aptos goes up. Now, how can you actually back this up with data? If you go to DeFi Llama, you can look at all the different chains And if you go into Aptos here and click on total value locked, you can see that the total value locked in the chain is going up. This is money that is locked in the chain in DeFi protocols, whether it's staking, indexes, whatever that may be. And you can also see the volume go up. So not only is the total value locked going up, but there are actually people coming and using. Volume means the amount of transactions that are being done every single day or the fees that are being paid. So if you have higher total value locked going up and volume going up, it means that there are more people demanding the use of the currency Aptos. And if there's more demand going in, therefore price needs to go up. So a lot of the time, this total value locked and volume will front run price. If price has not moved yet, this is an indicator of it just being on the precipice about to go up. Now you could just buy Aptos, or how you really make money when you're investing in layer one coins to go and buy the coins inside it in the ecosystem. In my other video, I also showed in DeFi Llama that you can go and look at the top protocols on chains and the amount of projects that are built on there. For example, for Ethereum, you have liquid staking type of protocols, Lido, you have lending, which is Aave, DEXs, you have Uniswap, SushiSwap, you have basis trading, you have yields, you have real world assets. The ones that I think will have the most success are obviously going to be the real world asset ones, they're going to be the AI dApps, they're going to be your DEXs and your launchpads. So if you go back to the chains and look at Aptos, you'll be able to see all the different projects that have built on Aptos itself, and you can go and do your research on there. One of the projects here is Amnis Finance. I did a little bit of digging. Don't go and aping in this coin just yet. Please do your own research because these are small coins. I had a look at crypto fundraising and I saw that Aptos Labs has also invested in Amnis Finance. They've only raised 2 million, that's not a huge amount. They've also got OKX Ventures on here, and we always know that the DeFi lending or the DEX protocols on new layer ones always do take off. Give another example. When Base took off, Aerodrome Finance took off. If you look at CryptoRank, you can also see that the amount of investors that are invested in Aptos are Binance Labs, Jump Crypto, FTX, obviously they're not around anymore, A16Z, Multicoin Capital, Binance Labs again. And if you go and look at drops tabs, you can see investors and VCs, and you can see which of these largest funds have the most money, essentially. And you can see Jump Trading, A16Z, Jump Crypto, Multicoin Capital are all investors of Aptos. And that's probably why you see a lot of total value locked and volume in Aptos itself, because who actually has the money to put in billions of dollars into a chain? Of course, it's big backed hedge funds, venture capital firms who want to pump their bags. So at the same time that you need to be aware of token unlocks that are coming up, you also need to make sure that you're on the same side as these whales, because these are the people who truly move the markets. These are the people who are classed as the market makers. You can't control what they're going to do, but you definitely know that they're the ones who move markets. So why don't you position yourself in the same way that they do? So what you can do is come down and look at the protocols that are building on Aptos right now. You can see that in terms of 1 month change, there's a lot of green signs here going on. I think you're still early. Aptos hasn't moved as much. And if it is moving with Sui in terms of narratives, if the Sui narrative continues to go and people don't want to be buying the top of Sui because it's pumped so much, they're going to want to look, where else can I put my money in? Where else fits the same narrative? And because the same developers wrote both Sui and Aptos and it's written in the same language, it's a very logical move to say, why isn't Aptos pumping next? Because Aptos could also be seen as the Solana killer. And if, as I mentioned, if the supply and demand is there, if there's more demand, price of Aptos will go up. And then you can look at the smaller projects in here. Look for the ones that are DEXs, launchpads, AI platforms, games, maybe the top leading meme coin on Aptos as well. If anyone is into memes, you would know that Mudeng, the little hippo, took off massively in the last week, went up all the way until $320 million in market cap. And on Sui, basically the same coin went off, just called Hippo. And that was launched after Mudeng was already launched. So as you can see, even if it's just a copy, there's always going to be a leading project of some form on each chain. And Hippo was the one for Sui. So if there's going to be another run on Aptos, you want to be looking for the leading meme coin, and then you can get into that early. Hope that makes sense. That's just my 2 cents on the market right now. Still cautious, not making any moves until we see what Bitcoin does in relation to the bull market support band. What I am doing right now is positioning myself to see what Aptos is going to do in relation to Sui. The Sui run continues and I start to see a big uptick in price in Aptos. That's when I'll start to enter into the ecosystem coins within Aptos itself. If you're a bit more risk averse, just stick to Aptos. But if you do want to chase those 3x, 4x gains in the space of a week, you can do that in the ecosystem coins, but obviously that's going to come with more risk. Here's to know, did you invest in Sui? If not, are you looking to invest in Aptos? And are you also looking to invest in Aptos ecosystem coins? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next video.